Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I just am here, the creator and writer of the Honesty Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video, and number 8, where we use the tarot to become the alchemist of our lives. A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cusses in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things. All right, y'all. I'm tired. I'm gonna do one more. Channeling is just, it's kind of energy draining. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Kind of an energy drain. Let's do one. I want this to be an easy one. Frustration. Frustration. Number 49. For some reason, every time I see this card, I think about people being frustrated about people being frustrated because they can't make sense of the spiritual journey, trying to fit a square in a round hole. I just feel like a lot of times, look at this right underneath, this is energy. I feel like a lot of times, a lot of us try to mentally understand God, and we have to understand that God is not a mental construct. Like, he's in your heart, like God, and he's also he's not an intellectual being. He's he's an energy. He's literally like, I just feel like, I guess the words are loose. I can't find a proper word for it. But what I have realized is like the only way to truly, they have this very famous saying. Y'all can tell I'm starting to get to the end because my words are getting like, blah, blah, blah. There is a saying, that if you want to experience God, the closest way to experience God or getting a glimpse of God is through creation. And we do know like creation is all about action and it's about process. And depending on what type of creator you are, some creators, I do consider myself to be one of those type of creators where the creative process is very spiritual, and you realize that it's not you really creating things, but more so you being a channel. And when I say being a channel, for me, my writing, Marie, she speaks about this in The Artist's Way. When I first read it, I didn't understand it, and then it started happening to me. And she was saying that writing is really, it was the right to write, not the artist's way. But she was saying that writing is really listening. And at first I was like, I don't, I'm like, what are you talking about? Writing is listening. No, you have to write. And so I remember when I first started to write the earlier draft of my novels, like it was like this mental thing, like I remember I was writing some crazy shit, like, cause I wanted to have like this shock factor. Like I remember I even had like this passage about like where, this is when I was really making one of my main characters super dark, like where she had to do this ritual where she had to like kill a puppy or some shit. And it's like, mind you, I love animals so much. And like, so for me to write some shit like that, like just goes to show like I was really in my head about it. Right. And so I don't know. It had to be around like my 3rd or 4th draft. I think I want to say it's my 3rd draft, and I was writing it, and that same character I was talking about, I was writing something for her, or I was thinking about writing something for her, and like in the midst of it, like it just changed, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And like the character started like, it's just so hard to describe, but the character started talking to me, right? And like I just realized like, oh, like she wouldn't do that, and like like it's just. The story, I don't even know how to describe it. I call it a writer. Like, it's just like, all I can say is like, I'm not writing my book by myself. Like there was this point, there was a time where I was mentally trying to write my book. And like, even, I do have, outlines, and that's what you see up on my wall. And like, I've done planning. But that was all because I was trying to like capture the glimpses of stuff that was coming to me. And so when I'm in my writing process, like even if I can get a glimpse of something, or I will see a scene and think that I'm writing something, you know, I feel like because I write by hand. So I would think, okay, well, you know, I saw this scene that I'm in the shower. Like I always get like good ideas in the shower. One time I was brushing my teeth and I got like this really good scene that came to me and I like end up like laughing because I like, you know, because I visualized it and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna write that. And so I would see the scene, I would know what I'm going to write for that day. I would get to my page to write it. And then I'm writing it, and like in the middle of me writing it, it just changed. You know, like it starts to, it's just, okay, I'm not even gonna, it's hard to describe it. And I think that's why it's frustrating, because it's like, you can't make sense of energy. You can't make sense of an unseen world. It's just the only way to understand it is to experience it. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have to stop trying to like make God a human form or try to make God. If you want to experience God, that's why they say faith is, you know, you have to do faith is walking by sight, you know, walking by faith, not by sight. It's faith is an action. It's like God is an action. Like God moves in the details. Like the only way that you're going to know and you're going to see the power of God is like when you start living your life. And I got that 2 years ago. Like I realized I was just sitting here, you know, wanting this dream to come true, feeling like, you know, nothing that I'm doing is working or not really seeing my power. But then I go out, angel number 621, and like I realize the world is interacting with me different. I'm able to get I get things done faster, or I get things for free, or it's like, and the only way that I was able to see that is when I got out of my head and I actually started living my life. And when I say people start giving me free things, I say, for example, I went to California this year. I did a road trip to California from Vegas for my birthday this year. And, you know, I was planning on, you know, getting the truck. When I got there, the truck was way too big. I didn't feel comfortable driving it. And then I was like asking the guy that I was with, like, can I get something smaller? Like, this is just too big. And it was like these rows of Mustangs. Now, mind you, since a little kid, I always had this dream of like driving to California in a Mustang with the top down and all of this stuff. And fast forward, this has now all of a sudden this became a reality, and it wasn't because I was trying to make it a reality, but because the universe did it for me. And so this is what I'm trying to get you to understand, angel number 1711. It's like, you're not going to understand God. Like you're not going to be able to see the power of God just simply in your mind. Like you have to take all of these things, take all of this shit you learn from these YouTube videos and apply it and go live life. And then you'll be like, damn, like God really is real. God really is amazing. Like, last thing, I remember I have a really big thing about my skin. And like, cause I had very bad acne growing up. And so like, you can't see it, maybe a little, especially now, cause my skin I've done a lot of work on it. So you really can't see it too much. But I used to have like, really, like I used to have like these caters, kind of, you know, like how leftover scars, and like my skin I used to just really be really subconscious about my skin. Like I used to know that I can photograph well, but I didn't know how I looked in person. And so I remember going to like this dermatologist, and it was this black lady, and she was so fucking mean to me. And she was just like, oh, your skin is fine. Like, your skin gonna be like that forever. Like, what you want? Like, well, you know, like she was just being really rude to me. So I just was like, oh, well, I thought my skin was gonna be like this forever. And then I remember I saw like this interview with Angela Bassett, and she was like, she has an esthetician, and like that's how, you know, she had an esthetician since she was 20. And I was like, damn, like I want an esthetician. And mind you, I don't even know what the fuck an esthetician is. I just am like, if Angela Bassett got it and she looks amazing, I want to be like Angela Bassett. And so like not even a couple of years later, I'm following this place, and then this lady comes out, and she's an esthetician, and she does facials. And like I went on her page, and she showed this before and after, because she was doing skin treatments. And like I go to her, super affordable, $50, 30 minutes. And like for the last almost 2 years, I've been working with her on my skin, on going from micro needling to, you know, I'll do a chemical peel, and then now we've been doing like hydration masks. And it's like, God, You know, like, again, I wasn't seeking this. I had this desire, and then God just brought it in my life. And it's frustrating because it's like, well, how did you do it? And it's like, I can't tell you how I did. I don't understand how God worked. Like, I don't think anybody understands how God worked. That's why it's frustrating. That's why scientists refuse to believe in it, because they can't quantify it. But the reason why you can't quantify God, because you only can experience him by living it, you know? Angel number 1015. Anyways, let's go into this book so we can move on. So it says pulling mostly. So we got mostly orange cards. If mostly orange cards comes up during a multi-card reading, it's a sign to really tap into joy and playfulness during this period of your life. Orange is full of energy, and I love that. Look, energy, synchronicity. I love that because I literally said my word for next year is completion, fun, completion, play, and love. Like, that is what those are. Oh no, completion, joy, and community. Those are my 3 words for next year: completion, joy, and community. Like, that's all I want to do. And play. Like, I just want to have fun. Like, I'm tired of just living life. Angel number 1101. I just want to have fun. Okay. Orange is full of energy, which can be invigorating, but also overstimulating. How are these energies emerging in your life right now? Are you feeling excited or is the energy feeling a little too intense? If it's too intense, take a moment to release that energy with a sense of play. Now is the time to take a moment and celebrate all the joy that is apparent within your life and all the forms that it takes. And so this card of frustration. For some reason, despite all your best efforts, you aren't able to achieve what you're working towards. And that's frustrating. Instead of getting angry or disappointed, take a step back or a break from whatever is going on. What are some alternative approaches to this situation? Is there a solution that you haven't tried yet? Would a new perspective help you find a solution? And honestly, when I was reading that, Angel number 1205, it made me think about this channel and like how frustrated I kind of been at the lack of growth of it. But then I realized, like, I listened to Mama Moon, and I just got like, I realized I'm like, this is teaching me. Like, this, I learned from this channel. I figure out how to channel. I literally learn lessons. I think for somebody who I don't have any training. I didn't get ordained as a priestess or nothing like this. Like, I literally just picked up tarot cards and started reading them. So, which means that this has already been in my blood. This is something I've probably done in a past life. I don't know who the hell it is, but whenever my phone rings, it scares the hell out of me because I'm not used to my phone ringing. Hold on one second. Hello? Hello?
Hello, this is Sarah. I am a Medicare Health Plan Advisor on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay?
No. Okay. So, I don't know what the hell that was. I fucking roto dials. Okay. So anyways, it was making me think like I don't have any, formal training. I just started doing this. And so like I was, you guys have seen some of these, if you've been here for a while, you've seen me like cry on this channel. I've channeled messages about how to end racism and like all of this stuff. And it's like, and the way to end racism is for Black people to stop participating into it. And so it's like, I've always channeled stuff like this, or I've channeled guidance, but it's like to go to Monique Ruffin and to see that she's been doing this work for 20 plus years. She done been to, like she created the courses, all of this stuff for somebody like her to also affirm and confirm what the channel and the guidance that I've been getting. It gives me confidence and it makes me want to do this more because I want to know like, okay, so how can I learn how to be a better, spiritual being? How can I learn how to work these gifts better? And so it's like learning, I was like, okay, let me look at this in a different perspective. And I looked at it like, this is my training ground. This is how I learned how to do it. And so maybe instead of trying to be like, oh, be consistent, be consistent, get these certain number of videos out. Like maybe it's just, I do this for myself. Like I was thinking about literally right when I was about to, log on, I was thinking like, you know, like, what if this channel is not meant to be seen by millions and millions of people? And like, what if this is just meant to be my thing? Maybe this is just how I learn. And so it's like just learning to, instead of staying in this frustration, this frustrated energy, learning how to look at things a little bit differently. This last message of energy, when this card appears, it asks you to pay attention to the energy that you've either recently cultivated or would like to cultivate. Tap into the momentum of something that you've been working on. Get excited about a new project or even a seemingly mundane task like cleaning your home. Now is the time to pursue whatever you have been calling. And so maybe a lot of you guys, a lot of the frustration may be coming because you want to pursue something and you haven't been pursuing it, and you have been like just wasting your energy towards other things, and God could be just asking you to like look at things a little bit differently. I can honestly say, like she told me this, the owner of the studio told me this. She's like, you know, when you start teaching, it's going to change your life. It's going to help other areas of your life. And at first I didn't really understand. I was like, okay, you know, whatever. But it really has, I have a deeper perspective of it, because technically it's like now that I'm getting my schedule on track. So it's like now I just do yoga, or, you know, I do yoga in the morning every weekend. And so now, every week. And so it's not only helping me physically, but it's also helping me mentally. And then it's also helping. It also got to the point to where it was like, okay, yeah, I need to go work out to, you know, I'm thinking I'm working out for my body, but actually it's actually helping me look at work differently. I'm coming to work with a different attitude. And so it's like, and number 16, 20, 25, just realizing that you have to be mindful of what you're giving your energy into. Like, when I literally was just waking up every day, going to work, walking Cuddy, you know, writing my book, hoping that, you know, waiting for this blessing to come. It was miserable. But when I started to realize, like, put my life in my hand, start planning trips for myself, start doing little things for myself, taking care of myself, my energy changed. And so God is just saying, if you've been frustrated, it's time to take act. It's time to look at what you've been spending your energy on and what you've been focusing on. And if you have been frustrated for a very long time, it's time to be looking at what you spend your energy on, what you have been focusing on. And if you haven't been spending your energy towards things that feed you, try to think about ways that you can change that, maybe in a minor or a little way. Like, you know, if your job, you know, you can't just, I don't ever tell people to just get up and quit their job. But if your job is like draining your energy, then maybe you have to, instead of standing in that frustrated energy all the time, maybe there is, maybe you need to find a way to restructure your day. So maybe that means starting to put some morning routines in place. So maybe you do some morning pages, maybe you do some meditation, maybe you go work out. But what God is saying is that instead of staying in this frustration, like, you really have to find a way to, like, you know, come out of that energy. But okay, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to end this with, actually, I'm going to go 2 things. I'm going to do getting into the vortex, and then I'm going to end this with a work your life. All right, dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, clarify this message of frustration, energy. Why is it so important for us to look for a different way to go about doing things when we are frustrated? Why are you asking us to focus on our energy? Please deliver this message to me and through me. Allow no room for doubt or confusion. Please give us one tool that we can focus on. All right. I can look for things I appreciate in relationships. You cannot get the relationship of your dreams when your chronic thoughts about relationships feel lonely or angry or worried or disappointed. But as you look for things you appreciate in yourself and others, as you look for things to appreciate in yourself and others, as you make lists of positive aspects of your past and present relationship, as you train your vibrational offering to match the vibration of your desires, your perfect mate must come. That is law. And so this is just saying about, again, being mindful about your energy. You're frustrated, you're mad, you're lonely, you being in that energy of being frustrated, lonely, and being frustrated and mad that you're lonely is not going to bring that mate about. If you want to bring your mate about, and what you have to do is get yourself in a different type of energy. And so if you're lonely, then that means you have to start finding things to do with your time. You have to start loving on yourself. You have to start filling your day with things to do. Angel number 1945. God, this message is really just saying the energy that you get back is the energy that you put out is the energy that you're going to get back. So if you're constantly in this energy of frustration, negativity, heartache, or like feeling like the world is against you, then that's all you're going to see. So you have to really be mindful of what you give your energy into and how you choose to look at the world. My imagination attracts all cooperative relations of relationships, doubling down. The universe and all of the physical and non-physical players in it is responding to the vibrations that you are offering, and no distinction is made between you as you observe and the vibrations that you offer as you imagine. This makes me think a lot about you know, God is saying, like, if you're frustrated about being lonely, like, have you even, when we were younger, we used to play, right? We used to play pretend. We used to play house. We used to play all of this stuff. And I feel like when we get older, we stop doing that, right? Because it's like, it feels childish to like pretend that you're doing something. But I'm going to be honest, I can't wait to, I do actually have an article on Honestly Sis that I need to put out. When I had my yoga class, Angel number 2112, before I had my yoga class, I would come in here and I would pretend like I had a yoga class. Like I would literally create my playlist. I would set my incense. I would pull some cards. I would literally be like, hello, welcome to Intuitive Flow. I'm Honest Am. I'm your guide. And then I would go through my yoga flow, right? I was doing that for about a year. This year, I went to a yoga, and then I was doing that for about a year. And then earlier this year, I had told myself, because, oh my God, I had met this girl, and she said that we were going to do yoga in the park, and she wasn't really about that life. But I was so excited about like making a playlist, and I realized like, damn, like I kind of low key do want to teach a yoga class. And so I had made the intention that I was going to teach one yoga class. I think I said it to myself, and I think I may have told one other person, like I want to teach one yoga class or whatever. I set that intention. I was in here playing, practicing, pretending, look up. I go to a healing event, talk to the owner of a yoga studio. She gave me my own yoga class. I don't have to ask. I didn't have to seek it. She told me I could do any style, any day, anytime, however long, just gave it to me. And it all came because I was just in here practicing, pretending, and all of that stuff. And so, like, I say that to say, like, that's also why I come here and I do these things, because I'm practicing and pretending like I got my own TV show. When I'm cooking in my thing, I want to have my own, eventually, when I'm older, I am older now, but when I'm older, like, that'll be like my 5th career. I want to have my own cooking show. And so sometimes when I'm cooking, I pretend like I'm talking to an audience. And so it may sound crazy, but this is literally saying that the universe don't know the difference between you playing make-believe and it actually happening in your life. And so what God is saying is like, instead of being in this frustrated energy, why don't you be more playful? Angel number 2323. Why don't you start pretending and start acting and being in that energy of what would it feel like to even be in a relationship? What is your partner like? What would he do? Like, I know for me, I was like really like, when I was like feeling my partner really, really heavy, not like my physical, like my spiritual partner or whatever, when I was feeling him, like he was so touchy. Like I had a dream about him. And like best kiss of my life. Sometimes I still think about that kiss because I'm like, goddamn, when is it gonna happen? Like I would just feel like sometimes I would literally just feel like a brush, just a brush against my neck, or like just a glaze against my thigh, and it's just like, That's the type of partner I want. My partner to be touchy and to be lovey and like low key. I want to be like Courtney and Trav, like just like so in love with each other, cannot keep our hands off of each other. Our kids are like, Mom, Dad, you know, like they're low key embarrassed, but they're actually happy because their parents actually like each other. Like that's the type of love I want. And what God is saying is like, yeah, you may be saying that you want a relationship, but do you even know what that feel like in your body? Or like if the idea of and this is what God is saying, if the idea of being in relationships immediately like produce anxiety in you and make you feel like, oh my God, like I can't trust somebody, or it makes you automatically think the worst thing, you're 9 times out of 10 you're not ready for a relationship. You need to start doing some self-love. You need to do some self-help. You need to like work through why you have all of this apprehensiveness about relationships, because the truth is you may be saying you're lonely, but then when you think about relationships, all of this bad stuff is coming up. What's going to happen is that if you date somebody out of that fear of being alone, that person is just going to highlight all of your insecurities. That's all that person is going to do. And so that's why it's so important for you to do the work on the inside, so that when you meet somebody, he can highlight the good parts and not the bad. Because remember, the world is nothing but our mirror. And so what this message is saying is like, you can pretend, you can act like that person's there. I remember I was writing love letters to him, or like when I just would like, you know, like you can do things like this to call your partner in. Last thing, I can attract the relationships that agree with my desires. And this is this God doubling down. Like you don't have to, you know, the world may be telling you hoes are winning, or we may be in this state of where the world really don't believe in love. But if you believe in love, and if you believe that you can meet somebody that, you know, really who values you, who's going to be loyal to you. Like if you believe that in your heart and soul, and you focus on that, and you do that work to call that love in, or not even do that work to call that love in, you do that work to love on yourself, and you trust the universe to deliver it, that love will come to you. But you're not going to get it if you're just like, these dating apps and this, you're trying to do a mental thing. You can't mentally make sense of God. You can only experience him through living, trusting, believing, and surrendering. Okay? That's it. All the corporations. Did I finish this? That was not what we were reading. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to keep reading. We're gonna end this with I said work your light. This will be our last message. My stomach kind of hurt. All right, dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, why is this message of energy? I can attract the relationship that agrees with my desires. I can look at the things I appreciate in relationships. Energy and frustration is so important. God, why are you telling us that we have to be mindful of what to put our energy in? Why are you asking us to focus on positive and not the negative? Please deliver any information you deem worthy for us to hear. Okay, hold on 1 second. This is why I was really, the card that I was describing is this one. I intend to co-create from a place of positive attraction. But I'm trying to figure out, I think I lost it because he wanted me to finish reading that card to y'all. But I think I lost it. I made a mistake and shuffled the cards. Here it is. Okay. If you simply imagine your life as you want it to be, all cooperative components will be summoned. And even more important, all the components that are summoned will cooperate. It is law. The experience you have with others is about what you evoke from them. So there you go. Angel number 2815. Thank you, God. All right, God. By my attention to things, I am making choices. By paying attention to the hoes is winning, you are making choices. Okay, God, no more. I can attract a relationship that agrees with my desire. I can look for things I appreciate in relationships. My imagination attracts all cooperative relationships. Energy, frustration. Why do we need to be mindful of what we put our energy towards? Why are you asking for us to imagine the love that we desire? In God's name I pray. One card, please. One card. Oh, thank you. One card exactly. Birthing a new age. I love this. Birthing a new age. Matini. I don't know how to pronounce this. Longing from home. Belonging, the original light worker. That's why I feel like a lot of y'all are lonely, and you have to realize that what you're really lonely for is not another person, it's yourself. And if you keep trying to search for love out of this place, this sense of loneliness, you're only going to end up in toxic relationships. Like, I know it sounds corny, but you really have to love yourself in order to get the relationship that you're looking for. All right, let me read this message of birthing a new age. Birthing a new creation, dreaming a new world into being. Often our path is exactly the one that we don't feel prepared to walk. Walk it anyway. Often what is rising feels far bigger than we could possibly hold. Be a container for it anyway. Often our creation seems to have a wild, uncontrollable consciousness of their own. Birth them anyway. Often what is ours to do is the very thing that most intimidates us. Be courageous and do it anyway. We are birthing a new age. Right now, we're in a transition period between ages, in the process of allowing the old cycle to fall away and the new to rise. Like driving in the fog and trusting the road will appear ahead, we need to release old identities and ways that no longer serve us, using our intuition as a compass. You are a group of souls who have been incarnated at a significant periods of history preparing for this exact moment. Dreaming a new world into being, mandolin sisters, daughters of Isis, essence priestess, witches, mystics, healers, seers, artists, midwives, visionaries, guardians of the earth, and storytellers from the past. It is time to give permission and space for what is beckoning within to be born. We are dreaming a new world into being. I am open to surrendering to the creations that are wanting to be birthed through me. May I be of service in a way that delights my mind, body, and spirit. Please use me. Please lead me. Please show me the way. I am open to surrendering to the creations that are wanting to be birthed through me. May I be of service in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. Please use me. Please lead me. Please show me the way. I am open to surrendering to the creations that are wanting to be birthed through me. May I be of service in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. Please use me. Please lead me. Please show me the way. Ashe. All right, y'all. That's all the messages I have for you. If you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this message, you are not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. If I could summarize this message into a sweet little bow, it would just be mindful what you give your energy into, and to remember that God is not something that you can think about mentally. He is only something that you can experience physically and in motion. So get to moving. All right, y'all. Angel number 2313. Talk to you later.